Good morning, beloveds. It's spring. The allergies have sprung and my eye itches like crazy. So, welcome to March 1st. I'm looking at my glasses now. I'm going to clean them really quick. Well, I say really quick and then it's not really quick. It is March 1st. It is our last month in Beyond Appearances. April 1st, we will start a new book. All right. Our title is How to Listen for Guidance. The first quote is, "The steps of a good person are ordered by the presence, and they are delighted in their way." They delighteth in their way. Gotta love Bible quotes. That is Psalm 37:23. The second quote is, "Our part is to be ready and willing to be guided into truth and liberty." The Science of Mind, page 272. At the core of everything that lives is the seed from which it sprang. The oak still contains the acorn and reproduces it endlessly. People still remember where in their consciousness the spiritual plane from which they came. God is the source of our being, the spiritual truth about us. Nowhere in our physical incarnation was our true nature lost. God is God as people, in people, is people. We can ask for divine guidance because the divinity that offers it is part of our own inner essence. The soul remembers far more than the intellect has perceived. Divine mind already knows whatever needs to be known, and when the human mind learns to listen, divine mind will speak, and quite clearly. What can we do in a practical way to prove this premise? When we are troubled and do not know how to proceed, let us first become still physically, our body resting comfortably so we can forget it. Letting the stillness be absolute, we then let our attention turn to the need for guidance. We just become aware that there is a need, without putting the problem into words. We let our mind be blank, as still as the body. Just being there, just listening. There will be an answer. Okay. Something will stir. A thought will come, and now we let that thought develop. It will put itself into words. The guidance is happening. It may not be what we expected or wanted. Perhaps our inner guide knows something which we had not thought of. We continue to listen. If our thoughts wander, we bring them back over and over again to the silence and to the listening. God is with me, and I am untroubled. I call upon the Spirit of truth, the Comforter, the Counselor, the living Christ. My need is met. I know what I need to know. I go where I need to go. I am guided, and I have no fear. And that is C.C. Craig Carter. Okay, there is this wonderful technique. I believe it was kind of, I hesitate to say created, but possibly created by Michael Beckwith, and it's called visioning. And what it is you do exactly what Craig Carter was talking about. You get comfortable so that you can forget your body. You get comfortable. If anything's uncomfortable, you want to adjust until you're comfortable. So you get your body comfortable so that you can forget it. And then you ask this series of questions. Now, obviously, when you're doing a visioning, you can't ask the question. You can ask the questions, but it would actually be easier if somebody else asked the questions for you. One of the things that I've toyed with and just haven't done yet, because in the in advanced consciousness studies, we do the visioning on a somewhat regular basis. And what I've toyed with the idea of doing is just going ahead and recording it, giving myself the 2 minutes, maybe playing some light music in the background. I have to get something copyright free. And so that when we do this, I could just pull up the YouTube video and play it, and then I could participate too. So if you Google visioning on YouTube, I'm sure that hundreds of videos will come up, including Michael Beckwith, because like I said, he's kind of the author of it. And it's a series of questions, and it asks, what do I need to know? What does spirit, what, and generally groups will get together when they're getting ready to start a project, and they will get together, designate I don't know what they're called. Whatever word it was just popped right out of my head. But the person who's going to do the questioning, and then everybody else gets comfortable and gets quiet, and they have things, if they want to write during that, they can, or they can wait and take notes afterwards. And when we do this, one of the things that we remind people is your brain works in different ways. And so if you were doing something like this, visioning is what I'm talking about specifically, because it's different than meditation. And it's even different. It's along the lines of guided meditation, but not quite. Sometimes you get pictures, and you get colors, and you get snatches of songs. And so you write all of that down, and then everybody in the group gets together and they talk about what it was that they came up, what came to them. And then sometimes even they'll, everybody goes away and marinates on it. And sometimes, especially if you're doing it on your own, you marinate on it. We did one in a class, and I don't have a whole lot of experience with visioning, but we did one in a class when I was in ministerial school. And I remember thinking I got lilies and foxes, and I think a color, and I don't remember. Oh, it was pink, the color pink. And so I went and looked up the symbology of the lilies and the foxes and the color, and went, oh, and it did have a very specific message. In that particular class, what I was being guided to do was to embrace my femininity, which sounds a little weird, but at that time, that's exactly what I needed to do. It's like, okay, and so I started trying to wear a little bit more, the color pink, and like soften myself around the edges, and do that kind of stuff. And so that's how that can work. And like I said, there were never any words. At no time did my brain go, you need to embrace your femininity. What I got were images. And so then I just looked up the symbolism, and that's what you can do. So, and that's so frequently, because that's how your subconscious works. If the presence, if the Christ consciousness is going to speak to you, it's going to come to you through your subconscious. And your subconscious doesn't necessarily deal in words, but it does deal in images. And so sometimes you got to tease the message out. So I would encourage you to go to YouTube, type in guided meditation, type in visioning, type in Michael Beckwith plus visioning, or just visioning, and plus New Thought maybe, and listen to them. And when you do it, set aside a significant, I think they're at least 15 minutes, because they're like 5 or 6 questions, and you want to give yourself 2 minutes between questions. So give yourself some time to do this. And when you do it, make sure that your body is comfortable. Because if your ankle is nagging at you, you're not going to hear your subconscious. So that's what you want. So that's one of the ways that you can access this guidance. And then when you get images or snatches of songs or things like that, or just colors, don't be frustrated by that, because it's part of the process. And then that's where you can go to the internet and say, okay, well, what's the symbolism of this? Or, go, and if you got like a passage out of a book, or a passage out of words out of a song, go and see what in context. That's one of the reasons why when we read Bible quotes and you're like, go read it in context. Go see what the song's talking about. One of the things that I love about music is frequently songs are telling you a story. So it's something to work on. It's one way to access the source of your own being. As they like to call it in the modern terminology, it's a hack. You want to get to the Christ consciousness? Well, there are all these videos available that will help you, guided meditation and visioning. Try them. You don't have to do it by yourself. You definitely don't. And like I said, there are groups that when they're getting ready to start a project, they'll get together in a group, designate one person to do this, and everybody else gets together, and then they talk about it. And it's like, okay. I think when we created the garden room, which is the practitioner room at the center, that's what they did. I think I may have been a part of that one. But It's an excellent way to get to the subconscious guidance if you need it. It's an excellent tool, and we've got all kinds of tools that you can put in your toolbox. Visioning is just one of them. We teach a class. Science of Mind teaches a class. I think Marissa and David taught it recently. So if it's a class you want to see again, reach out to the center, which email info@creativelife.org, and say, hey, I'm interested in this visioning class. We'll find a couple of teachers and teach the class again. All right. Moving on. I would say normally I would say the mission for today. So let me see what the mission for today is. Okay. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that the guidance is happening, even if it doesn't look like what we expect. Being willing to do a little extra work. Because like I said, the Christ consciousness is going to come through your subconscious, and your subconscious doesn't deal in words, deals in images. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that the guidance is happening and to be okay with it not looking like what we expect, and be willing to do a little work to figure out what it is that, and you are always welcome to tell your subconscious, I need more clarity. All right. So when you go into listening for more guidance, if you've been getting a confusing jumble of symbols, ask for clarity. Ask for clarity. It's one of the things that you can do. All right. The second part of the mission, which I always like to remind you, is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. And that does look like meditation, and that does look like guided meditation, and that does look like visioning, and it does look like making sure when you do these kind of things that you are comfortable. Now with meditation, especially if you're doing, a silent meditation, you may not want to be too comfortable because you might fall asleep. But making sure that your body is comfortable so that you can turn your awareness within, that's a good thing, So that is loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself. To prepare yourself to do this listening by making sure you're comfortable, physically comfortable. All right. Visioning and meditation isn't always spiritually comfortable. It isn't. But we can make ourselves physically comfortable so that we can receive messages that we can act on, especially when those messages aren't comfortable. And we're like, okay, so this is something for me to work on. All right. But it also looks like taking a deep breath before you speak. It looks like taking a nap. It looks like taking a walk. It looks like taking care of yourself. All right. I do say you are your own best test subject. If you want to find out if something is loving, kind, and compassionate, test it on yourself. You get immediate feedback right there. So, and like I said, it is absolutely about self-care. I make no bones about that. I'm straight up honest. When we practice love, kindness, and compassion on ourselves, that is self-care. Straight up. All right. Moving forward into, and reminding you that it's also about making room for joy. One of the things that I like to say is it looks like eating dessert first. Mm-hmm. Yep. It means your life is a special occasion. Don't save the good stuff. All right. Sometimes it looks like literally eating dessert first. And sometimes it looks like, cleaning out your closet. But it does look like making room for joy. So it is a quality of God. No matter what is going on in the world and your life, you deserve joy. So make room for it. Love, kindness, and compassion. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. Moving forward, I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. It's been a little warm these last few days, so I've definitely been hydrating. Your brain works better when it's hydrated. And if you're going to do guided meditation, make sure you're well hydrated without overhydrating, because you don't want to have to get up and pee in the middle of it. Kind of breaks the meditation there. Well hydrated, but not overhydrated. You know what I'm talking about. I do encourage you to get early in your day bright light. We're still dealing with clouds. So when we went for the bike ride this morning, there was no sun. So artificial light counts. It's called a circadian rhythm. It is a hormone balance. When your hormones are working in this natural rhythm, you'll have more energy during the day, you'll sleep better at night. And that starts with early in your day. If you get up before the sun, then artificial light, it counts. All right. Get those hormones going the way that they should. You will feel better. All right. This is why I talk about love, kindness, and compassion. The circadian rhythm is part of that. All right. Moving on to the words of Ernest Holmes. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time. Because everything is made of God stuff. That's what that quote is like. God as people, in people, through people, it's all God stuff. Which means the potential is always there. The potential is always there. So when you learn that heaven is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, not necessarily a place, what you learn is, one, nobody can take it away from you. And two, it can become any place. And if you continue practice, potentially every place. It's pretty cool. I like to talk about our superpowers, and that's one of them. The Christ consciousness, we come pre-installed with it. That's how we create heaven. So, and when in doubt, take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. Can't go wrong there. Gratitude will get you everywhere. Absolutely. Okay, moving further, I think I'm at the place where I remind you we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias. So please feel free to look around at that. We try and make sure that there's good content fairly regularly. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social media that I'm on. Like I said, check us out. You never know what we've got. Something may speak to you. You want to know what's going on with the center? Email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. And when it says click here now, it means it. It will either take you right to the information you want, i.e. if you click on our soul sessions, it'll take you right to the YouTube channel, to that playlist. And there's good stuff there. All right, moving on to... I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an amazing day, a get stuff done day, a hydrate day, a check out visioning day, a looking at the symbolism day, a meditation day, a active day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. Because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented always. All right? You are a divine spark. You are a brilliant light. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Always. You, frequently, are the answer to someone's prayer. And that's just really cool to think about. And you'll never know. You'll never know. You might just show up at the right time, say the right thing, and answer someone's prayer. Just like people do for you all the time. All right? Either everything's a miracle or nothing is. And I like to think it's all miracles, including you. All right. So, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.